A few months ago, I got really into Indian art, and I decided to make a zine for my Patreon about it. And basically this video is just the process of me painting, sketching, and just working on a zine. I like had a Patreon in like 2021 for a while, and I only had like a £1 tier, and then I think I like put it back up at the end of last year, and then I added a few new tiers because I've always liked the idea of like sending people like letters once a month. So I added a tier where you can get a zine once a month, and this was one of the Patreon zines. So if you like my work, you should probably subscribe, I think. Anyways, I've been, in the back of my mind, I've had the idea of recording my painting and drawing process and turning it into like a full-length process video, but I'm incredibly lazy, and instead of actually doing what I want to do, I instead watch YouTube videos where artists show off their studios and try to figure out how I can make that happen for myself. And my first step towards that is doing this so I can perhaps expand my reach, and through that expand my capabilities of getting a studio. Anyways, this was a bit tricky because I tried to do it all within 1 week, but then I kept deciding I wanted to do things outside of my room, so I put it off for like months. I managed to speedrun like the first 3 pages in that week, and then I just started putting things off and off. What I really like about like the Patreon tier was the idea of me pushing myself into like a routine where I make a zine a month, maybe even like 2 zines a month, and I like really get into the habit of creating and finally like establish a process where I regularly finish projects and I don't just forget about them. However, that has not ended up happening, and except recently where I've actually like gone on track and finished zines and things on time, and now I'm really trying to like stay consistent, and that's like I think the hardest part of my practice right now, staying consistent and actually finishing / starting things I want to do. I'm still really obsessed with Indian art because, I don't know, something about the pigments and the way the colors and the saturation and like the hue, I don't know, I've forgotten all my art terms, but the way the colors look really appeals to me, and I really want to be able to replicate that. However, I am very bad when it comes to color theory and mixing colors, so I just kind of winged it, and I feel like a lot of the colors ended up too like bright and not like Indian-esque enough. What ended happening when I finished creating the zine, I got a printer that can print borderless, so I can create zines with ease, because I went to a printing shop and it cost me like $30 to print like 50 zines, and then I just got pissed because the guy said he couldn't do borderless, and he said he couldn't do borderless without like resizing the template that I gave him, or like the PDFs I gave him, even though they were optimized for borderless printing. So I have no idea what he was actually on about, but I got a printer so I could not have to deal with that. And what ended up happening was the colors that came out with the zine weren't the colors I wanted, so I ended up printing like 40 different like versions of the zine, trying to figure out how to get it to look most like the paintings. And this was like a month-long process because I kept like forgetting about it and then getting back into it. But I think like last week I finally just like upped like the saturation or something by like 5%, and that fully just fixed everything. Like it was printing bad as well, so I was like, oh shit, this printer sucks. But no, it genuinely just upping the saturation has truly just fixed everything.